Welcome back. It is 2016 and we haven't filmed in a while. A few days ago was our anniversary of our very first video, so it's been a year since we started making these. I think they've gotten better as we've gone, and I've really enjoyed making them, and we're going to continue on with 2016. So today's video is going to be about my 2016 reading resolutions. I'm sure everybody has them. I've been watching a lot of videos and I really like them, and I have a few of my own. The first one is the challenge on Goodreads where you set a goal for yourself and then you get to watch it fill up, like the little bar graph as you go through the year, which is one of my favorite things to do ever. I love seeing that progress, and I love seeing how many books ahead I am or how many books behind I am and getting stressed out or smug, whichever way it's going at the time. So last year I set a goal of 100 books and I surpassed it. It was the beginning of December and I was at about 138. I thought, could I get to 150 books? And I didn't. I couldn't. I got to 145, I think 44 or 45. But I got pretty close, and so this year I'm shooting for the moon and my goal is 150 books. That sounds like a lot of books, but I read a lot of graphic novels as part of the Maverick committee, and I count graphic novels, though I know some people don't count them because they think they're comics and that doesn't count as a book, and whatever, it totally counts as a book. If I have to read 90 of them, they all count. My goal is 150 books. That includes graphic novels, that includes, print, that includes audiobooks. I'm two books in? Yeah, I've read 2 books, so I'm already behind. No, I've read 3. So that was my first resolution. My second one is the 2016 Book Riot Read Harder Challenge. I really like these challenges. I did last year's Read Harder book challenge. They just have different genres and categories that you can read, so you read outside of your comfort zone. At the beginning of the year, I decided I was going to do it, and I got overwhelmed trying to come up with a book to fit each genre and each category, so I kind of just left it, and I came back a couple months in and looked through my Goodreads read list and found books that fit in with those categories. And by the end of the year, without really consciously just trying to read in these categories, I found that I had already read in them. I think that's partially because I, as a librarian and someone who is on a reading list and tries to read diversely so that the reading list is well represented on many fronts, I read across different genres and categories and from different authors, and I like diverse books. But I think also knowing that in the back of my mind that I wanted to read harder, I did push myself to read outside of my comfort zones and things like that. So I'm hoping to continue doing that this year with the 2016 challenge. And I wanted to read a couple of the topics up the list because I think this year all the categories are even better than they were last year. And I will link this in my info below so you can, if you want to, you can take part in this as well. So some of them on there are read a collection of essays, read a nonfiction book about science, read a horror book, read a biography, not a memoir or autobiography, read a book over 500 pages, read a book under 100 pages, read a book by or about a person that identifies as transgender, read a book set in the Middle East, read a book by an author from Southeast Asia, read a book that was adapted into a movie, then watch the movie and debate which is better. I love doing that. Read a book about politics. That one's gonna be hard. This is gonna be a challenge, which is good because it's a reading challenge. So those are some of them. There are more. They average out to about 2 books a month. So if you want to do that, that would take up your whole year. My third resolution is inspired by Lisa, who is doing a challenge of her own, and she started it before the new year, I think. She decided that she had too many books on her own bookshelves at home that she hadn't read yet, so she was challenging herself to get all of those books read. At first, she said she wasn't going to read any other books until she'd read those, and I think she's become a little more lenient on herself, as we all should be, and she's reading some outside books, but she's really focusing on getting the books on her own shelves read. And I have never had a problem with the fact that I haven't read 80% of the books on my shelves. I like them. I like that they're waiting there for me. There's that quote from Looking for Alaska where Alaska says that she hasn't read all the books on her shelf, and that's kind of the point of having them on your shelves. But I thought it was a good challenge. So I wanted to do something similar. I also did not want to limit myself to just reading the books on my own shelves. So I'm going to do every other. I'm going to read something that I check out from the library or that I buy or that I get from somewhere. And then the next book that I read will be off my shelf. Most of them will be books I haven't read. Some of them might be rereads because I just want to. And I might just bring them up here every so often. My 4th resolution, I'm already like 2/5 of the way done with it. My best friend Jen was in town over Christmas and we were reminiscing about our favorite books, and I was giving her recommendations of books to read. And we got to talking about one of our favorite series, which is The Dark is Rising by Susan Cooper. I've talked about it before on here. We both decided that we wanted to reread it because our memories on it were very foggy, except for how much we loved it. She thought that they were set in the distant past, and I said, no, I think they're set in like the 70s. So she was very confused, and then I felt, oh no, did I get it wrong? So we're rereading that series together. I'm reading the second one, which is The Dark is Rising, which means I've read the first one, Over Sea, Under Stone, and I've reread both of those before, and I love to read The Dark is Rising around Christmas time because it's set at Christmas, and this reread, I'm listening to them, and it's really fun to reread something that you haven't read in a long time because part of you knows what's going to happen next and you're just like excited for it, and then part of you, because you've read it before, can really get lost in the language and how well it's actually written. So I'm really enjoying that. That is a list of all of my book resolutions, reading resolutions for 2016. If you have any resolutions yourself, mention them below in the comments or send me a link to your video if you've already made a video of your own. I would love to see it. That's it for me. Don't forget to do all of those nice things you can do on YouTube. Like this video, comment below, like I said, with your resolutions, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around so that we can all talk about our resolutions. I love the new year. Naive, I love resolutions even if we break them. Just the idea that we're trying to make ourselves better is so fun to me.